Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It's November 14th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and it was mostly all downhill. We had a little bounce here after 1 o'clock, so the last hour there were two legs up that got us into the 2 o'clock hour. So you'll see a few trades in there, but most of the really good trades were early on. We started off with a trend up, little break, new high, and then we had this real tight trend down that kind of expanded into and went a little flatter into a larger two-tiered channel before we finally had a break. You would generally you would expect right here to probably come back and test this low, but it didn't happen. Looks like we're attempting to come back now, but we've already gotten to the close, so it doesn't really matter. But you can see it was mostly all downhill really from just after the opening. But let me back out here. We'll talk about the trades and we'll wrap it up for today. The 7 o'clock hour came right along in here, and notice this really confirmed the trend line. The problem here was this was really your signal bar, and this was just an inside bar, so I probably wouldn't take that trade. But notice you got a new swing low, so first entry, then a second entry, and a bounce right off that trend line, failed second entry short. You got to go long at the high of the day, but this is a pretty strong trend, and at that point I would at least be looking for a measured leg from there, and you see that gives us quite a bit of room right there. So I like that trade. We moved on up. Notice what happens. You just kind of go sideways back to the trend line, and then you bounce off of it right here. And really, we're kind of going sideways here too. And I would have liked this better if it would have broke lower right here and then turned and gone out the upper side. But you could have used this for your signal bar and just gone long right there, because it does bounce right off the key entry point. It is a 2-bar matching low, so it's considered a new low. Off we go, and then we're just kind of working down. There's a failed second entry long right here, but we're still above the EMA. We hadn't made a new high yet. We're starting to stack up right here. Several different reasons. It's tempting to go long there, and it would have worked. I didn't mark it. I think it's too risky. We do have some support there and a little failed break lower. But when we turn back up, and then notice how you got that resistance right there, and you turn down off of it again. Well, you made a high here, then test once. So you got a double test, another failure to go higher, a nice little small bearish bar, plenty of room to get out. I like going short there. And then, of course, we fail out the short side, and then we turn back down and fail and close back inside. So you'd figure we're probably going back to the high side here. That's your higher low off this failed break lower. And this turns out to be a pretty nice trade. It runs on up. This one is tempting up here, and we do have a break and a new high now, so we could reverse. Notice we got the break, and really what you had was you had two legs back here. You really had a little two-legged swing and a correction, and so there's one leg here and then another leg here. And if you measure those, they're probably, if they're not perfect measured moves, they're real close. You can see that. So you got your two-leg correction, you move to a new high, and then it reverses. So this one is really tempting. It's always suspect to try to take. You usually need to wait on a lower high. I'll mark it green, but I would usually wait on a lower high, which comes right here. Notice how we shot right through the EMA, pulled back, tested it, and then give you a big bearish bar. I like going short. You should at least get another leg there. You still got room even if it bounces right here. Notice that it does. You do get a higher low right there. Again, I did not mark it, but it does close back inside there, and it is a higher low, so that's another possibility. And there'll be some more today. There's just so many trades, and it's so volatile that you just wait on your better trades, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So again, we turned down right here, You get a break. We don't have a new high yet. This is not a bearish enough bar. It did break higher and turn and go out the other side. If you saw that, you could go short right there. But if you let this one close, it's, let me make it a little bigger. It's still hard to see. You can see there's a lot of stem on both sides. I wouldn't use that for my signal bar unless I entered all on that first move. But notice we do come back again and get a failed second entry long. And you get a nice bearish bar here. First close outside the trend line, really. You could, this one's just too close. It really closes right on it. This one, it closes outside here, turns back down. So I like going short right there. You don't know that it's going to take off like that, but that turns out to be a really nice trade. There's a lower high here, but it's not back to the trend line. It's not back to the EMA. It's not back to this main trend line. And this could be right here. But usually it's going to be off your high, and if you move it over there, then it fits right here as well. So, but we've already come off the low side of the bigger channel, and so you're just kind of bouncing down. I don't think you want to take any of these trades, and we head back. There is a second entry short right here, but again, you got this matching bar, and then this one, and this one's a little lower. It is a second entry. Notice we got to close a new high, but I'd wait on a lower high here. And you actually get one here, but again, it's not a very good signal bar. This one's too big. You're too close to these lows right here. Notice that we just went into a trading range. But if you're just patient, finally you get a failed break and you get a nice little small bar. Again, you usually want to wait till you've got a lower high, but this thing is trending down, and that's probably that may be a middle of a pattern. And so we may be going lower with a measured leg. And notice where that puts us down to here. So you got a long way to go. You don't get a lower high really till here, but this is a failed breakout and you're in a downtrend. So you got a downward bias. So I kind of like that one. But notice the first entry, then a second entry. This is technically a failed second entry long. But again, you got a little trading range like here. That's a failed breakout. Well, anyway, I can't get that thing to, once you let go of it, it won't snap flat again. But you got your short right there. And you may get another leg down like that one. Plus your original measured leg, I think, was way down here. So you still got lots of room. But at this point, I'd be looking at this measured leg and thinking, hey, if we go lower here, you can see we bounced right there and then started down again. This one is real tempting. We're back inside the main trend line. You don't really know that this midline's here yet, but you got the EMA and the other trend line. It's just a first entry, so I really probably wouldn't take that one, even though it's off that key, because now we've had two legs down. But when it continues to hold on this, notice now you get a second entry short right there and a little lower high, so I like that one. Then you get a failed second entry long and another chance, and they're all off the EMA trend line there. Off it goes. We bounce. This one just kind of turns down in no man's land here. You got this little trend line working up. It's hard to say we've really had a convincing close outside, and then it just turns down. You get a lower high here, too bullish. Bounces again, and you don't want to be going long down here. So you got to be careful on your shorts. But notice we set that trend line, and we come back and test it. We get really a lower high double top bearish bar, even if you don't draw your trend line yet. Go short right there, and the bottom falls out of that one. That was a quick, easy trade, and you got an easy runner out of it. Then we kind of bounce here. We're just kind of working back up towards that trend line. And we don't get there. The only reason I like this one, this is just better off to stay out of this. It's hard to know what prices are doing. They're probably headed back up here, but you don't really want to take any longs, and you got to be careful on your shorts. So you're better off probably to sit tight, but notice what happens. You make a new high, then you get a lower high, then you push through the EMA, pull back and test it from underneath. You get a failed second entry long, bearish bar. I like that one. Another move down. Come back. And the reason I like this one is just because you made that high, you tested it once, you tested it twice. It actually broke higher with that big bullish bar. So you could have gone short on a stop one tick below the green bar or waited on that one to close. You actually break higher here, but it's kind of there's a lot of lows right across here, and we did just come off the low. So we could just be going sideways. It would have worked, but you don't really know that ahead of time. You probably could argue for that to be green. Personally, I'd skip it because it's kind of in, again, it's not a key entry point. And it's getting close to the lows of what has been a lot of support across here. Notice it bounces back to the trend line, but again, you don't get a very good signal bar. You get a lower high, not a good signal bar. Then you get a reversal pattern, failed second entry long, bearish bar, and you just came off the high. So now you're probably headed to the low. Now you can go short. Again, another nice move. Bounces, I don't see any reason to be looking for a short in here. That's just congestion. You got at least a doji, one bar, it looks like a doji. Then we bounce, and again, you know, you don't really want to be going long with this two-tiered channel still in play. So you got to kind of wait for your short. You finally get a break here, move to a new high and a lower high. Big bearish bar. Failed second entry long after it pushes through the EMA. That's your other place. And at this point, you'd think we'd go test the lows, but we just kind of go sideways and it bounces. And you don't really know what to do in here. I say just skip these trades. Once you got your trend line set and you confirmed it, it's too bad we didn't get a good signal bar here, but you get a higher low right here, and it went lower and turned and went out the other side. I like going long there. And at that point, if we do go higher, you want to measure that leg and look for a minimum of a second leg, and that puts you back up in this area. We went a little higher before it sold off again. And I got you in the 2 o'clock hour. So, and I'm sure there's a midline here. I didn't even put it in there, but I guarantee you it's there. You can see that right along there. Right about there. So, and again, it helps you to draw these shorter term trend lines as well. You didn't need them as much today, but always draw them because they can and will help you. But there were lots of trades today. That's why I like trading earlier. You could be done easy by 10 o'clock today. And then you don't have to sit through some of this more boring or reversal type stuff trying to guess if it's a correction or if it reversed or just exactly what's going on. So, but anyway, not a bad day. We continue to get a little bit of volatility. It's not quite what we were getting, but day was still relatively volatile. And you get some big signal bars, and you know, you either have to find a way to get in following the rules by sneaking in, or if it's really trending hard and you want to get in on it and the signal bar is too big, just make your profit bigger. Just make sure you're at a key entry point. And remember where those are. It's your support and resistance areas, and your trend lines are just angled support and resistance. Your flat ranges, that's your support and resistance, and the EMA. So those are generally your key, and occasionally the midline. So those are your main key entry points. That's where you want to look for things to happen. Occasionally things happen elsewhere, but generally your best moves are always going to be at those key entry points. So keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow and wrap up our week, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.